Girl, I love and I forget you. All the pain in my chest, I still wish you the best of luck. Forget you and forget her to say if I was richer, still be with you. Ain't that some shout out to CeeLo Green. Hey, we need that brother to come back and do some music. I mean, but not as a clown or anything, but take his singing seriously, because he really has soul. And we want him to really come back and do a nice rhythm and blues album, a soul CD or stream or whatever it is. Time for him to do his thing. So anyway, shout out to CeeLo Green. David was good. Hold on, wait a minute, y'all. Hold on. What are these folks doing? Alright. Just taking a brisk little walk just before I go and have lunch. But I want to run this by you really quickly. I'm not going to talk long on this subject. You know, there's a lot of stuff that happens in the news, and I pick and choose which ones, you know, just to share an opinion on. I got a couple more things I want to talk about today. And so this one right here kind of stood out. And the reason I decided to just say a couple of words on it is because something it's been kind of consistent or constant in the world of HBCUs. You know, there's this young woman, Princess Isis Lang, or something. I think that's how you pronounce her name on Twitter. She's a black student at the University of Southern California, or USC. She took it upon herself. I thought it was a great idea. I thought it'd be awesome if she created what's called a majorette team, a black majorette team. And I read the article just to see what was going on with her and a black majorette team at the predominantly white school, USC. And in the article said, hey, majorettes usually have the batons and stuff like that. Well, she calls it a majorette, I guess, dance team. So what she has done is almost like equivalent to cultural appropriation, even though but she uses the license as her blackness as a license to culturally appropriate and take it somewhere else. Did y'all hear what I just said? Because I read an article where she was saying, based on the criticism she's received for doing this, and I'll get to that in a second, you know, like, hey, I'm black too. I can use that. I don't have to be black just over here. I'm black everywhere I go. I get that, blah, blah, blah. But see, y'all know I'm going to take it somewhere else. Because whenever I see things happening, I have to go somewhere else with it because it's something that we're missing. And things that we don't like to acknowledge. That's why my Facebook page, that's why my YouTube channel, that's why these things exist. That's why my voice exists. That's why my brain exists. That's why my keen sense of observation exists. That's why I'm an opinionist. I see things that others are looking past. Or they sit on it and don't say anything about it. That's even worse. See, what this young woman has done, which of course she has her right to do it. But see, I always take stuff like this personally as a graduate of a HBCU. Shout out to Grambling State University, Jackson State, Hampton, Howard, Elizabeth City, all the Alcorn, Mississippi Valley, Tougaloo, all HBCUs. Then I go back to why they were created in the first place. They were created, y'all know why they were created, because they didn't want us at their schools. But then all of a sudden we bought into this whole social integration and all of this, and that's not the crime itself. The crime is that we bought into social integration and multiculturalism and left all of our blackness at the door as we walked into their houses of integration. Come on, somebody. And so what she did, in essence, was what I saw some students do at the University of North Texas here a while back. You know, this big white school here in North well, outside of Dallas, far north, in Denton, Texas, was right down 35. These black kids, very few in numbers at UNT, they decide to create a HBCU at UNT Day, and it's go look up. It was a very buffoonish, coonish display of young black college kids I'd seen in a long time. They had the college president. They were surrounded by the white college president, university president. They put a cap on his head, and he let one of the little black kids put a cap on his head, and he like, yeah, and they just jumped up and down like a bunch of wild banshees. Yeah, yeah. So they were having like little parties and doing that song. I swag and surf and swag, doing those songs, and this and trying to mimic the spirit of the HBCU. I shook my head at that foolishness. And it takes me back to when I was a student at Grambling State University. Shout out to my dear old alma mater. And by the way, I'm going to talk about them boys not singing that song correctly. Not the boys, our members of our football team. I'm going to talk about that in a minute on another live, so stay tuned. However, and then you have, these, when I was a student at Grambling State University, 5 miles up the road, what's called Louisiana Tech. It used to have black students who probably majored in political science, majored in social sciences and English and all that. But all the stuff that we do have at our HBCUs. We even had engineering and stuff back then as well. In the 90s, we had a thriving engineering program and everything. But they still went over to tech because we've taught black kids, and then America has put it out there with the overfunding of historically white colleges and universities. They get $90 million and we get $90, and so that's how it's always been, because we were never supposed to exist in the first place, and we don't teach this history to black kids. And then even in sports, the fathers and the mothers, mainly the fathers, send their sons to white colleges, but they ignore the history that there were black guys in the NFL and the NBA in the 50s and 60s. What school do you think they came from? See, we shoot our own selves in the foot. We do a disservice to ourselves on so many levels that we don't even understand why we're still at the bottom of the list as relates to racial behavior in this country. There are black folks who refuse to read the book by Carter G. Woodson, Miseducation of the Negro. If you control a man's thinking, his body automatically follows. And we have a lot of black folks with degrees who graduate from HBCUs who still send their kids to other schools. And I've heard all the excuses. I don't give a fuck. I don't. But it's your right. But I'm going to tell you what this young woman what she's done is what many others have done. It's like when we say to white folks, you'll take our rhythm, but you don't want our blues. And we made these chocolate-covered white folks, called your kids or black kids, these chocolate-covered white folks. They think like whites. You don't want to be around blacks. You don't want to be around you people academic and scholastically. You don't want to go to the black university, but you want to take the rhythm and take it to your white space and think you're doing something astronomical. I thought integration was stupid 50 years ago. Malcolm X thought it was stupid too. And you think you want to feel special. The reason you took that dance troupe over there, young lady, because you wanted to feel special. You want this controversy. Yeah, people are criticizing it, but I'm getting into the psychological aspect of why we do what we do, because racism, white supremacy has really permeated through our brain cells and just really damaged us. And so we don't like to be in the spaces where all of us are there, because see, it's too much competition. So you go where there's nobody else there but you. I'm the only black person in my office. I'm the only black person in my classroom. We're the only black family in our suburban neighborhood. We still think like that. And so she was just coming from that thinking. I'm going to do something unique. I'm going to use my blackness. I'm going to steal it from the cradle. We refer to the cradle of Africa and bring it over here And let me get all the pats on the back and all the criticisms. You know, see, we're going to have to stop shooting ourselves in the foot because we've been taught and trained not to be around each other. And when I was a student at Grambling, let me go back to that. You see those black tech students used to come over to Grambling all the time. And I used to write in my newsletter, keep y'all funk ass over at Tech. You didn't think Grambling was good enough for you to enroll in to major in English, sociology, engineering, psychology, social work, or what have you. I don't know if they probably had undergrad social work. But you didn't want to come over there because you thought Grambling was what, hood or not good enough. You'd be over there at your Louisiana Tech, your white school, acting like a scared and timid Oreo. But then as soon as Grambling has a weekend block party or we had homecoming or spring fest, you broke your neck over there to come and party at our schools. No, don't bring your ass to our schools to party. Party over at that boring ass PWI of yours. Get your little clique of black kids and y'all have y'all little tiny black experience. You do that. Hell. And then even with the fraternities and sororities, I've called out and said a lot of things about our Qs and our Kappas and our Deltas, not our AKs, not too much about the Alphas. But the point is, the black fraternities at my HBCU reminds me, let's say you have a drunk uncle. I can call him a drunk uncle, but you can't. So even with our Qs, Gamma Gamma, Gamma Psi, Kappas, and all of those, and Gamma Delta, I don't know what the Alphas were, but anyway, the Qs from Tech and the Kappas from Tech used to try to come over and blend in, and you can tell the difference. So now y'all keep y'all ass over there, over at Tech. Don't try to blend with the Gamma brothers. Don't try to Gamma brothers. Don't try to blend with our Qs. Don't try to blend with our fraternity and sorority. Blend your ass over there doing y'all homecoming. Don't come over and use our university. Don't use Grambling as your weekend toilet, as your weekend debaucherous weekend. Don't do us. And that's like that now. It's interesting. And we need to continue to call this behavior out. If you don't want to go to a HBCU, don't fuck with nothing about the HBCU. Yeah, you can take your blackness with you. But don't get over there and try to exploit, to go back, do like what a lot of black artists, singers and movie writers, they don't live nowhere in the hood, but they'll go to the hood, or what they deem as the hood, and steal their talents and put it on the mainstream. Oh yeah, artists do that musical artists do it all the time. Go to the hood and get the raps from the little hood brothers that's rapping and take it and steal it. Beyonce was forever going to the hood and stealing dance moves and using it for her routine. All of them have always done it. And so what this young lady did is no different than what we do to each other. We act just like white folks. We don't want to be around us, but we want to take the rhythm but leave the blues. We're not doing that. And we need to call this out. And she's acting like she's a victim or she's so right. Well, yes, sweetheart, you have the right to do what you want to do with your blackness. But won't you come up with your own routines? Stop looking at our Orkeses at Grambling. Stop looking at the J-sets at Jackson State. Stop looking at those gorgeous Stingettes at Alabama A&M. Alabama State. Don't steal the Orkeses. Don't steal the actual legitimate dance troupe moves so you can think you're doing something so cool at University of Southern California, miss. That's all. I can talk about our behaviors and all that, but what I don't appreciate is anybody exploiting us. Y'all understand what I'm saying? I am a proud HBCU graduate and all that comes with it. The female dance troops, the black fraternities and sororities, the consciousness, the conscious community, the so-called labeled militant campus activism, the SGA, everything, the way we do things, the way we do homecoming, the way we come together for homecoming, it's a rhythm. Because somebody posed a question in the HBCU United, is like, what does HBCU mean to me or mean to you? And to me, it's that camaraderie. It's a spirit of black culture that comes together under the guise of academia. It's under the guise of discovery. Because we meet other blacks that we've never met before from all 50 states and other countries. That's what it was for me. Meeting black folks I had never met in Memphis, Tennessee. Folks from New York, all 5 boroughs. Folks from California, Denver, Mexico. Let me see, what's that? Barbados, Africa. Meeting black folks from down south Louisiana with all the accents. See, that is what attending an HBCU is. But I think that the leadership at these current HBCUs are trying to mainstream black colleges, which would continue to further drive the nail into the coffin of HBCUs. Y'all didn't hear what I said. And if y'all notice, at least 90% of the presidents and main faculty administration are black Greeks. And so they are participating in the disappearance of HBCUs because the culture is a feeling. So you can go, USC young lady and people at black folks at Tech, you can go and try to imitate it. But you can't never duplicate it. You got it? It's a spirit from the soul when you're at the HBCU. And all of us who've ever attended HBCUs, we know what it feels like when we meet each other. And that's the problem I think a lot of us are having with this. Stop stealing. If you don't want us to like us, don't borrow from us. Don't do nothing. Take your ass on. Go in there and be self-discovery over there. And your psychology degree, your engineering degree what am I saying? It doesn't do you any better than you should, if you go to the PWI or the HBCU, because what I've learned, and statistics will back me up, HBCU graduates are excelling in all aspects of academia, engineering, or STEM. They're all over the place. We're doing it. Social sciences. So that old myth about, if you go to the white school, your degree will be more valuable. If you play sports at the white school, the recruiters will see you. Those days are over. Because Procter & Gamble, and all these white corporations used to come and just recruit the hell out of students, out of HBCUs. They understood that, we were taught something a little more, a little different. We were taught that we had to be 10 times better than our counterparts from every other school. That's what made us great CEOs and great owners and, just great executives. Because we understood we went in there to work, and we had something to do. So we're not teaching these kids that. We're these black kids, a lot of them, not all, they attend these white schools. They look at black schools like, oh, wow, they don't have any air conditioning. Oh, how do they live? Y'all got air conditioning and everything else, and still your professor don't know who the fuck you are. Y'all got all of the so-called varieties of things to eat in your cafeteria, but yet some of you are still hungry around it. So our HBCUs teach us how to hustle and to be original and to lean on each other and just cipher that life force from each other at HBCUs. You don't get that at PWIs. And you can tell every time you go to one of their homecomings, and you're like, that's okay. That and then you go to a HBCU homecoming. Boom, 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 boom. It's a different rhythm. It's a different kind of soul. So anyway, I just want to share that, and we need to stick up for our HBCUs. Y'all send your kids wherever you want to. But this conversation is never going to go away until we be honest about the damage we're doing to ourselves. Our HBCUs should have a waiting list. All 100 of them should have a waiting list. We have about 41 million blacks in this country. We can't send at least 2 million every year that will completely fill up the HBCUs, all 100 of them, that'll bring the much needed funding to the HBCUs when you bring the bodies in, because they bring in tuition, and not just the C plus and below, but the A plus and above, B plus and above students. Because your kids deserve that HBCU experience, but however, we have to preserve that HBCU experience as alumni. And as administrators, as presidents and deans and vice presidents at these black colleges, especially if you graduated from one, y'all, you're supposed to be having it going on. Something, quote, black and rhythmic should be happening at your HBCU, even as I make this video. Yeah, I said it. That's why people come to HBCUs, for the HBCU experience, not the LSU experience at Grambling. It's just a difference, man. I guess you have to have attended one, have to have attended HBCU to know what I'm talking about. But anyway, shout out to the young lady. What's her name? Princess Isis Lang or whatever. But y'all stop stealing, man. Just stop stealing, stop copying, stop trying, weaponize your blackness for selfish reasons. Don't do that, because we're a whole community out here. And we're still making it happen regardless of all of the obstacles that are coming our way. Economic, social, racial, all the obstacles. You name it. We're still pushing forward. But we need us who are still within the HBCU community, historically black colleges and university community. We need us to get back on track. We need us to get back in line with promoting the very ideas and ideals that got us here today. Y'all enjoy the rest of your day. I'll talk to you later. I'll be back with another opinion in a minute. Hey, my book is still for sale. The Greatest Pain Ever Felt. Conversation with the absent biological father who never wanted to be found. Just hit that Cash App, $Rico the Opinionist. Hit it with $10. Please send me an email address so I can send it to you. Send it to you as soon as you hit me with that Cash App. And also, if you don't want to just purchase the book, hey, hit that Cash App and PayPal anyway. If you're cool with me, fool with me. Talk to you in the future. Shout out to Raider J in Memphis. Peace.